It's The Rock from 106.1 KISS FM and 103 GBF. Here with my tag team partner in podcasting, the Mastodon, Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Good morning, Rob. And I'd like to start by sending a message to your former tag team partner in podcasting,
Who you referring to? Eric?
Eric Cornish.
Okay.
We are
Penn State.
We are
Penn State.
We are
Penn State. Now, I will admit, I don't know why we're doing this.
Thank you.
What?
Come on here, Penn State. You're supposed to say you're welcome. That's how we do it.
You're welcome.
You're the worst.
Whoa.
Listen, this is why we're doing it. Because the Penn State Nittany Lion basketball team is in the NIT. They made it to the Final Four. Guess who else made it to the Final Four?
The Wildcats?
The Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Now, this is the NIT, the not important tournament, not the NCAA tournament.
I'm so lost.
The Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. And your buddy Eric likes the Hilltoppers and was talking about them on Facebook last night, and I decided to be an antagonist.
Ah, well, you take that, Cornish.
He's a heel. And Penn State's going to win the whole thing, and it's going to be funny when he doesn't, when his team loses.
Well, wait, why are we in the not important tournament?
They didn't win enough to go into the NCAAs.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they did well this year, but the only real good team they beat was Ohio State. They just happened to beat them 3 times. But now they're kicking butt.
Well, that's cool. And I bet you Cornish's face is pretty red right now.
Oh, I bet you he wants to kill himself. That's what you get.
So
I'm
wait,
a heel.
Did we beat them last night? Is that what happened?
No, we don't even play them unless we both win our next games. But the potential's there for a final showdown.
That damn Eric Cornish.
That son of a bee. Listen.
Good morning, everybody.
Here, we're off and running. It's National Goof Off Day. Just let it happen.
Do you have a weatherman that comes on your show every morning to tell you what national day it is?
No. We have like a recorded weather that does play, but he doesn't tell us what national day it is.
That's our weatherman's gimmick. Today
was National Goof Off Day, and it's also World Water Day. And I was like, you know what? Who cares? So some third world country doesn't have potable water. I could care less.
Take that, Cornish. Take that, third world countries. I mean, who else do we want to tag this morning?
Take that, Flint, Michigan. Like, I don't know. I just start firing shots.
We actually did National Sing Out Loud Day. And we asked people what their favorite song to karaoke is.
My God, why are you doing this to me? You know I love singing. You know I'd love to sing a song, and you won't let me ever sing on this podcast.
It's not I won't let you. It's not like I'm offended that you sing. It's that the video is going to get yanked down if you sing.
What if it's an original tune?
It depends.
Yeah, I'm not even going to push it. Take that, YouTube. Take that, Cornish.
Take that, Flint. He's a heel.
He's a heel.
He's a heel.
I'm making no sense today.
Today we're talking about the celebrity wing of the WWE Hall of Fame. Its highs, its lows, and its potential. And I would like to get things started, if you don't mind, by reminding people who is already in the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. And we can quickly discuss each one because I believe I have who I consider to be the bar. I also have the high point and the low point of the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame.
I appreciate this because I didn't do much research on it at all. I don't even know who's in. So I may have a couple names on my list that are already in the Celebrity Hall of Fame.
Okay. Well, here, let me get things started by saying, and it has nothing to do with his current popularity and fame and everything that's happened to him. I was talking to, I had a conversation about this stuff last week with my buddy John. And we both agreed, strictly from a wrestling point of view, Donald Trump is probably a really fair bar for celebrity involvement in wrestling, meaning that if you did more than Trump, you should be in the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. If you did less than Trump, you probably should not be.
And Trump did a lot behind the scenes and on the scenes. Like you're thinking of the hair match and the Bobby Lashley stuff, but I'm also thinking of the WrestleMania being held at Trump Towers. And
no, that's a big part of it. Yeah, WrestleMania 4 and 5 were held at Trump Plaza in New Jersey, where I was actually happy. I was lucky enough to see wrestling there. It was called Boardwalk Hall. Excuse me, but it was the same building, and it was I have never been so comfortable watching a wrestling show. It was such an unusual venue to see wrestling, but we saw a SmackDown there.
It was kind of cool watching that WrestleMania when they run to the ring and they're going downstairs. You know what I mean?
Boy, I don't remember stairs, to be honest with you, Jer.
Wasn't Trump Tower the what? Which WrestleMania was it with the yellow entrance ramp?
Yeah,
and it was like,
I don't remember. Was there stairs on that?
There were stairs.
Okay, maybe there were.
There were a couple stairs that they had to navigate before they started running or doing their thing.
I think Trump Plaza is technically a different building than Trump Tower. I might
be.
Yeah. So, but either way, so and not only that, he appeared on screen very briefly at those WrestleManias, but did host them. So that's big there. And then he was involved in the WrestleMania. I want to say it was 23 with the hair versus hair match with Vince, which was a very big deal. He was a storyline owner of Raw and was, he was part of that whole when it rained down money thing around that era. So he was very involved on and off throughout. And then also, continues to pay homage. He tweeted about, like, as president of the United States, he tweeted a meme where he was at WrestleMania attacking CNN. Like, that was amazing.
Well, Linda McMahon's part of his deal, right?
Correct. And he put Linda McMahon in the White House. Like, I feel like he's a good bar, because there's some people who are better and there are some people who are worse.
Right. I think he's actually higher than the bar that I would set.
Now that we're talking about it, maybe he is. But
he really is a no-brainer, I think. Whether you love him or hate him politically,
that's correct.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about in the context of professional wrestling, Donald Trump has done quite a bit.
So then I'll tell you what I feel is the low point, and then I'll follow it up with the high point.
Okay.
The person who has no place at all in the Celebrity Wing of the Hall of Fame, and not only that, I can't remember anyone getting a colder reaction to their acceptance speech or their nomination than Drew Carey.
Yeah. Why did he get in?
He was in the 2001 Royal Rumble as like a comedy bit. I mean, he's not even close to being worthy, in my opinion.
No, not when you look at some of the names that are still out there, for sure. Like, I have one name that is just, it's unfathomable to me that there are a couple people on this list that are not in.
Yeah, I have a number one name that's not in as well. It should not come as a surprise to longtime viewers of this show. I've been crowing for this person ad nauseum.
Is yours a male or a female?
Mine's a female.
Mine's a male. So
we got a different name then.
Yep.
Okay, and then let me tell you who I feel is the high point of the Hall of Fame. I feel there's no more deserving celebrity to be in who embodies what the Hall of Fame is all about, who made insanely positive contributions to wrestling. I mean, there's one that's neck and neck with this person, but the name I agreed on with John was Mike Tyson.
Absolutely. Mike Tyson, he elevated the WWE at that time. He made that WrestleMania special. He put the rub on everybody. Like, he brought Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels and Triple H. He brought them all up, and they were already up, and he still elevated it all.
Look, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, yes, but what he did, he launched Steve Austin's career. Now, given it's combined with the fact that they knew exactly what they wanted to do with him, they utilized him properly. Just the timing was right, but that also launched the Attitude Era. That launched WWE beating WCW in the ratings. I mean, his contribution to WWE, and not only that, has never shied away from being a wrestling fan. He's oftentimes spotted at shows. Was a guest host another time. He is so deserving, I feel like, to be in the Hall of Fame. And then my very close first runner-up is, for the same reasons, Mr. T.
Okay. I thought you were maybe going to say Bob Uecker.
No, Euchre's more. I think he's a personal favorite because he was just so goofy.
Yeah, I just love him.
Euchre might be a better example of the bar, though. For maybe, because I would probably put Euchre below Trump, to be honest.
Euchre, okay, yeah, I would. Euchre and then Pete Rose.
Mr. T was in the first WrestleMania would not have happened without Mr. T. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the main event.
And he was a super duper celebrity in 1985.
That was the height of him. That was 18. He had cereal. He had action figures. And here he is standing next to Hulk Hogan, making him look like a superhero.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And then in the next WrestleMania with the match with Piper, it's like he was so good at being what they needed him to be. So, yeah. Other names that I would put as middle of the road include, as you just mentioned, Euchre, Pete Rose, Drew Carey said the low point. Schwarzenegger also not deserving enough to be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
Is Lawrence Taylor in there?
No, that's a solid choice.
I think LT should be considered. Sure.
There is one football player in there. That'd be William the Refrigerator Perry.
That makes sense too.
He's pretty deserving, I would think.
Absolutely.
He was in the WrestleMania 2 Battle Royal and maybe even another one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay. WrestleMania 2 Battle Royal is what it says here. And then someone I think is under the radar kind of deserving is Snoop Dogg. In 2016, he went in.
Did he go in because of Sasha Banks? Kind of.
Probably the timing, but he's contributed a whole lot too. Another guy always tweeting about wrestling. Like he's been an unashamed fan of the business for as far back as it goes.
There are probably others that have done a little bit more than him.
He's contributed a lot of music too.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got names of people that are more deserving than Snoop, including Kid Rock, who's going in this year.
Right. Well, for me, looking at my list, it doesn't necessarily. Oh, God damn it, Kelly! Don't call me now.
Kelly who?
Come on, Mandy Rose calls. I'm picking up.
If Bruce Pritchard calls, you're not.
I'm not. When I look at my list, so everyone we've talked about has contributed either a lot or a little to the WWE. But can we agree before we start talking about names that they didn't necessarily have to have contributed to the WWF or WWE to be in the WWF Hall of Fame? I mean, like, if you look at Sting's body of work from the WWE was minimal at best.
Correct.
That's not a Hall of Fame career.
No, when he went in, it was nothing, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So it's WCW. That can count too. It's more of a Hall of Fame for pro wrestling than just the WWE. Do you agree or disagree?
I kind of agree, but for the sake of this argument, I'll say, yeah, throw in anybody.
Okay, because okay.
I think I know your name. Can I guess your name?
Sure.
I'm going to guess Jerry's number one name that's not in already. All I know is that it's a male, and I think that your name is David Arquette.
My name is Andy Kaufman.
Oh, yeah, I wrote that name down. Holy cow, what a choice.
Andy Kaufman, I think, is my number one, but we might as well address the elephant in the room. My hot take is going to be David Arquette. Okay. Because David Arquette was a world champion, and none of the other celebrities in this list are. And I know you could look at other people that were world champions. You could look at like Santino Marella and be like, well, he's not going in the Hall of Fame, and he won a championship, but he didn't win 17 of them. He didn't win one more than his peers or his contemporaries, whereas David Arquette did. And it might not have been a good decision, but he still had a championship. He carried the show as a champion for a couple of times. It wasn't awesome, but as a celebrity, he did that movie about wrestling, and he brought a lot of press and a lot of attention to professional wrestling. So I think David Arquette is actually deserving, although people kind of want to hate him because there's no better illustration of WCW crap in the bed than giving him the championship. Like, that's the high watermark of their bad decisions.
There are, though. Like, to be honest with you, Vince Russo having the world title is more absurd to me than David Arquette having it.
Yeah, you're right. But that was like the first time they decided to really take a dump.
So I guess my hot take is that I kind of agree with you. So here's my take on this. Number one is, do I think Arquette deserves a spot in the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame? Given the bar that we've set, yes, I do. And not even a kind of, it's a strong yes. I do believe he belongs in. I do think that fans have a misplaced resentment towards him and would probably not like the decision, but I agree with you in that he deserves it.
That's probably what's holding them back from ever making that decision, is they know that it'll just get booed.
It is not David Arquette's fault that he was WCW champion and that it was during the most god-awful period of any major wrestling show.
Ever.
That's not Arquette's fault. Arquette, I can tell you as someone who has listened to him like ad nauseum on the Howard Stern show and seen him in other interviews, is always complimentary and respectful of wrestlers and that craft. As Jerry mentioned, was the star of one of the most in-your-face wrestling movies, at least fictional-wise, that was major release, and that was Ready to Rumble. And while you can blame other people for the disastrous title run, i.e. Vince Russo, and maybe even the ill-conceived idea of it, I think that he did what he could with it and could have been far more disrespectful to wrestling than he was.
He's truly a fan, you can tell. I'm glad we didn't fight about this. I thought for sure you'd argue with me on this one, and I'm glad you didn't. And it sounded to me like you agreed with me on Andy Kaufman as well.
Andy Kaufman may be better than my name that I
know what your name's going to be, and I think your name is awesome too. But I think Andy Kaufman should be first.
If you're making it all wrestling, probably Andy Kaufman. If you're making it WWE, WWF, I'd probably go my name.
Your name, for entertainment purposes, and your name did a lot for the WWE, much like Mr. T did.
Tell people who my name is.
Cyndi Lauper.
Cyndi Lauper is the one I'm most excited about. Even if Andy Kaufman were to go in, I'd probably be more excited about Cyndi Lauper because at the very least, Cyndi Lauper is still alive to accept that induction. And so I've been saying this for years, that she's my number one that's still out there. And over the past year, as you know, in my spare time, I've been watching old TNTs and just kind of doing wrestling chronologically starting in 85.
Sure.
And it was even more profound than I realized. Like, she was so involved with her manager, David Wolf. And I mean, and beyond that first WrestleMania, I mean, she was so involved in helping get the WWF mainstream in the 80s. And she was a legit big star that it was tremendous. She's the best that's still out there. At least that's alive.
I agree with that. Was there beef or something? Is there a reason why she didn't get in? Is there an issue that I don't know about?
No, I don't think so. I think she's got a good relationship with Vince. I think she might be uninterested. I think that's something she's probably left behind.
Okay. Well, because I feel like she's a better choice than Kid Rock, although I didn't think Kid Rock was I didn't think he was a bad choice at all.
Yeah, we talked about Kid Rock's contributions. I don't know if we need to revisit that because we could probably spend that time talking about other people. There's another name, though, that I think is neck and neck with Kid Rock pretty much. Maybe one small step below Kid Rock.
Okay.
And I feel like their careers have kind of been, at least early on in their careers, have kind of been associated with one another. And that would be Limp Bizkit for pretty much the same reasons as Kid Rock. Limp Bizkit did an Undertaker theme song, Rollin'. Limp Bizkit for 2 WrestleManias had pretty awesome theme songs.
Yeah.
Like, I would take Crack Addict and My Way over any of the Kid Rock garbage WrestleMania theme songs, including this year's. Again, working with Undertaker, I feel like Limp Bizkit could be every bit in as much as Kid Rock.
But Limp Bizkit's more of a punchline now than Kid Rock is.
Correct. And Kid Rock is kind of a punchline.
Well, he is a bit of a punchline, but I also think that what you do now and like how popular you are or how visible you are in mainstream media makes them want to add you or not. Like, will there be buzz? And with Kid Rock, it's still buzzworthy.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, he's still relevant and everything. By the way, I'm predicting still, I don't know if I've said this on the show or not. I predict Kid Rock's acceptance speech is going to be extremely annoying. Mark my words.
I bet it, and I bet he doesn't dress up for it, and he's wearing a dumb hat and like a wife beater.
He is so annoying when he's speaking. It's just insane.
It's going to be bad. You know who I'm surprised not in it? Not that I think that they should be, but at some point Triple H is going to get his way, and Motorhead's going in.
Well, there's one I never really thought of.
Don't you think? I mean, he loves them so much, and they've done all of his theme songs practically.
I don't think has a celebrity gone in without being alive.
A dead celebrity? I don't know. I mean, Andy Kaufman would be the one I'd do if you were to do one.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like they'd want that person to be living because I think that part of the appeal of the celebrity wing is that you can go and see this person get inducted.
You see this celebrity, right? Because they already do like a dead person. They always have a dead person.
Yeah, they usually have a dead person. Who's the dead person this year? Is there one?
So far, I don't think there's a dead person.
Give it time. There's still 2 weeks.
I mean, how old is Hillbilly Jim? We'll see.
So, let's see. I've got another name on here that I'd probably put right behind Cyndi Lauper. I feel like another guy, first of all, always in the limelight. He's always been relevant and always talking about wrestling with great respect and appearing at many shows. Whether you're talking WWF or WCW, WWE, doesn't matter. Shaquille O'Neal, the Shaq.
The Shaq attack.
I mean, he's always, whenever Raw's in LA, you always see Shaq.
Do you think that they're going to do that?
I think Shaq will get in sometime. I think he's the most realistic name we've talked about yet. I think of all the people who aren't in there yet, of all those names, Shaq would go in first.
Nobody dead is in this year. I just double checked. Nobody dead.
But they also have like those ones they don't announce.
Yeah. Like you might get like a Nick Bockwinkel or something like that. Like somebody that not a lot of people know about, like an old school guy.
Or if one does get announced, I'll predict who I think it's going to be. If a dead person goes in, or I'll just say if there's another name announced, I bet you it'll be Bam Bam Bigelow. I just keep hearing that over and over again.
Okay. I would not have a problem with Bam Bam going in, and
Same.
I don't think I'd have a problem with Shaq going in either. Although, at this point, after hearing our discussion, I think anybody goes in before Cyndi Lauper, I'm going to get annoyed.
Yeah, Cyndi Lauper is still my number one, but I bet you, I feel like they may have offered her and they've turned it down. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, though.
Well,
I'm just making that up. I feel like when you look at the names that have been in there and that Cindy's still alive and active, and I just feel like they must have offered it to her.
And they won't do more than one celebrity inductee this year, will they?
I don't think. No, I doubt it. I mean, there's no rule.
Do you think the list is done? I'm looking at it, and you've got 8 names. Is that about it?
Yeah, I mean, well, the Hall of Fame hasn't been televised all that many. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9. You probably are missing Refrigerator Perry.
No, I'm talking about for this year.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if they're done or not, to be honest with you. And remember, every year there's always like the ones that don't get announced.
Right.
The Baron Mikhail Ciclunas. What say you that they have a ceremony taking Moolah out of the Hall of Fame?
Right. They're not going to bring up Moolah's name at all. And it's really interesting. I watched last night. I couldn't sleep, and I watched WWE 24.
I watched that yesterday too.
Empowered.
Yeah.
And no hide nor hair of Moolah on there. They didn't mention her. They mentioned Mae Young. They mentioned everybody. They talked about the history and the ones that came before and the future of women. And Moolah was not mentioned. And I get it. I'm not even going to say that I don't approve of it. When you don't know the whole story, Moolah makes sense. Moolah did a lot, but then you know the whole story. But that's why I don't want to know the whole story on those old timers, because I bet a lot of old timers shouldn't be in or shouldn't be mentioned by those standards.
That's the thing. I mean, like, listen, culture changes, man. I'm not defending what anybody did. You know, I'm just saying it was a much different time. You know,
doesn't make it right. It just makes it what it is. And ignoring history and ignoring the you don't have to name a tournament after her, but just ignoring the fact that she existed, that doesn't work with me.
Boy, we just thought. Oh, I wanted to. I liked that 24, by the way.
I loved all the backstage stuff, and man, that was filled with it.
I love that they set up a literal ring inside of a Philadelphia hotel, and they were running spots to get everyone to get the ring rust off. Like, that was awesome. Yeah. I love that they shared the moment when they announced that the women would be the main event. I really liked it. I also have to say, there's one. I don't know what it is. There's one person I used to like, one female wrestler I used to like, and I'm just losing stock in this person every time I see her.
Who?
Sasha Banks. I find to be so annoying.
Is she turning into the Randy Orton of the women's division for you?
Yeah, maybe that's but like, I feel like with Randy Orton, it was overexposure. I feel like with Sasha, it's just straight up annoyance. I feel like she's genuinely
annoying,
arrogant, annoying. Did you see, where did I hear about this? Do you know about Sasha Banks in the airports?
No.
Okay. If you Google Sasha Banks airport and do an image search on it, anytime Sasha takes a fan picture in an airport, she never smiles because she's annoyed that she's meeting people.
That's your job.
I know. Lady. And if it's like at a meet and greet, she'll smile. Or if it's at a signing, she'll smile. But if you catch her in an airport, she won't give you a smile.
Even Psycho Sid or Sid Justice smiled when he was signing that napkin and charging my dad $10 for it outside the Jaffa Mosque.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, that's just part of it. Like, I just don't like her anymore. Just as like, she's a fine wrestler, I guess, but I don't think I like her anymore. I'm just getting to that point.
And for as clumsy as she seems to be with the mic right now, and as awkward as some of her things have been, with her being so green with pro wrestling with Ronda Rousey, that 24 did nothing but make me like her more. Though I mean, agreed. Like it really it made me very empathetic and sympathetic to her and what she's trying to do, and she loves it. You could tell she loves it. And I love the moment where she does the Royal Rumble, which I remember being clunky, and then she had such a good thing. She comes back, Triple H is waiting outside a Gorilla, and she just blows right by him because she's just so pumped.
Yeah. I had a favorite part too, in like a negative kind of way. One part I laughed so loud at, when you talk about them trying to rewrite history. Did you notice what they did to Carmella when she won the Money in the Bank?
Yeah, they had her grabbing it and not Ellsworth.
They rewrote it so that Ellsworth was nowhere to be seen, and they just cut away, and it looked like Carmella grabbed it herself.
Yeah, she won the Money in the Bank, but Ellsworth won the first women's Money in the Bank. Sorry.
And it's like, why did you guys ever think that was a good idea? And now this is proof positive that they regret that decision.
Stupid Road Dog.
Steve had a hashtag, something about thanks for nothing Road Dog or something yesterday.
Thanks for nothing Road Dog. Is he still writing SmackDown?
I believe so.
Oh, great. They'll continue to suck then. And I always liked Road Dog.
Yeah, you know, I have a level of respect for him, but I would never say I was a big fan of him on the air. He did write really good episodes of SmackDown, but also has written some of the most garbage ones as well. So I have no opinion on him as a writer. And as
a wrestler, did you like him?
Not really.
I enjoyed the New Age Outlaws. They didn't put on a lot of bad matches. I mean, they got very formulaic, but when they were, you know, I think of the hardcore matches they had with Cactus and Chainsaw Charlie. Like, those were awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I never liked the guys who have the same spiel over and over again. Like, even Enzo switched things up. Like, I actually kind of put him in a league way above the Road Dogg. Road Dogg just had the same spiel. It's like Godfather. It's like it was the same
spiel. Oh, you didn't know?
your ass better call somebody. And then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the whole thing was the same. I never respected that.
It was the same thing with The Godfather. Like you said, it was the same thing with a lot of guys. They're like, ooh, that works. That sells T-shirts. I'll just do that forever now.
Yeah. Or it's guess what? I've got my finish is the pump handle slam, but who else gives him a nice little BFing before I deliver it? Just the road dog, baby. Give the dog a bone.
BFing. Put my D in the A.
Just give him the nice old BF just for good measure.
Give him the best friend.
Maybe we can get BF trending. The boy, I'll give him the boyfriend.
Hashtag good old BFing.
Hashtag good old BFing, please.
Hashtag take that, Cornish. The callback to the beginning. Go Penn State.
Yes, I'm with you. The name that actually got this topic started kind of came from Mike, and that was Macaulay Culkin, who I feel like a lot of people, we talked about him yesterday, I feel like, but a lot of people might not realize.
You teased it. You didn't explain yourself. I need you to explain yourself on Culkin.
Well, Culkin was, when he was the big star in like 1990, 91, he was at all the WrestleManias and was at many wrestling shows. Another guy who tweets a lot about wrestling and even challenged Rusev to a match at WrestleMania. I guess Rusev, I never knew the context until recently, but Rusev put out an open challenge to a celebrity via Twitter. And a few people have accepted, including most notably Macaulay Culkin. He's disregarded those challenges, but they were accepted. I
wouldn't mind. He was huge at the time. Macaulay Culkin was huge in 91.
If you Google Macaulay Culkin WWF, you'll see him at several different shows wearing different outfits and just a genuine fan of the product.
He's a huge fan. And if the WWE ever acquires and buys TNA, Billy Corgan might get in someday.
Gonna say no.
Maybe not.
Say not in our lifetime will we see Billy Corgan in the WWE Hall of Fame.
It's because TNA sucks, right? That's what it is.
I just think he hasn't made a very big impact on real wrestling yet. I know.
Pun intended.
Pun intended.
Impact.
Here's a name that I think will go in at some point. This one might strike you as like, really? You think that? But I do. Mark my words. I'll give it the next decade. You'll see Maria Menounos go in.
They love her. I mean, the only reason they would wait on that is just because they keep using her for stuff. But they clearly love her.
And
they used her at the Royal Rumble, and
she's hosted like every Hall of Fame. She inducted, I think, Bob Backlund or somebody. She's good. She also wrestled at one of the WrestleManias, if I'm not mistaken. She's a very deserving person as well, I feel like. And when you look at the celebrities available, she's deserving, I feel like.
I think it's interesting on a year where they're really focused on women and the women's division and the women's revolution, that the woman that's representing them in the Hall of Fame this year is Ivory. And it's really not that great.
No, Ivory, the best way I can describe Ivory is she was just there. She was there. Maria Menounos, you had your Kelly Hu joke last week or yesterday that I thought was really funny. Maria Menounos has the distinction of being the only woman that I feel like was so hot I nearly fell over when I met this person. I was working at the Howard Stern show in the summer of 2004. She was very young. This was 14 years ago. I had never heard of her before. I knew she was the celebrity that was coming in that day, but I had no idea who this person was. I had to go down and get food for my bosses. And as the elevator opened up, Maria Menounos and her now husband were in the elevator. And I about fell over. Like I lost control of my body. She was the hottest celebrity I met that summer. Pam Anderson was in, Jenna Jameson was in, many Playboy Playmates and porn stars. The hottest by far was Maria Menounos, who made me lose control of my body.
She's a good-looking woman.
She really is.
I need to Google her in 2004 now. Like I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see what she looked like in 2004. She looks good now. I mean, she's held up really well.
Yeah, and this is 14 years ago.
Going back to that Empowered 24 episode, I'm glad that they showed it again. She almost caused Naomi to blow that spot.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, God, she was tweeting or doing something with her phone, and she didn't know what was happening behind her, and she didn't get out of the chair, and Naomi almost fell. That would have been hilarious.
Oh, did she almost fall because of it?
She was standing there waiting to get on the chair, and she was yelling, like, get up, and Maria was, like, taking a selfie and then realized what was happening and then ran off. And I was like, oh, my God. If Naomi had been a little unsure-footed, she would have fallen, and it would have blown that spot completely. Her Kofi Kingston attempt.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming that they never expected an empty chair like that to be there. So, but I guess I didn't notice that she almost fell because of it. I knew that she was in the chair.
Yeah.
And just like looking like a real dumbass, right? Just like completely unaware of the world around her.
Right, with her phone like this, and then like, oh, and Naomi's like, I don't want to say she was wobbling, but she was kind of like she was ready to get to the chair. Like she had tightrope walked all the way across. She was ready to get on the chair and know that she was going to make it to the ring. Don't blow the spot.
Are there any names we should mention before we wrap things up? This episode was really fun, I thought. Yeah,
I loved it. And I hope other people can throw some suggestions out there. I'm sure there are a few that we are missing or didn't think about, but if they're only doing one a year, there's always going to be a lot of names.
Let me ask you this to wrap things up. Of all the names that we mentioned that aren't in the Hall of Fame, who do you think is the most likely to go in first? I feel like I've got two names.
I want to say Cyndi Lauper now because she's alive and it makes total sense. But
I don't think she'll go in anytime soon.
Probably Shaq.
Shaq, I feel like, or Maria Menounos. I feel like
Shaq is probably the first one of the names that we mentioned because they clearly aren't rushing anything with Andy Kaufman, although it would make sense right now to do it and have Jerry the King Lawler induct him. I think that would be perfect.
Again, I feel like part of the appeal and why they do the Hall of Fame is to get people talking about it. Where like, so if Shaq goes in, Sports Center will cover it. If Andy Kaufman goes in, probably not that many people are going to cover it.
You're probably right. I mean, you're probably right. But what if instead of having Jerry the King Lawler induct him, which would make the most sense, you have Jim Carrey induct him? Now you have a celebrity there.
Well, you just gave a really good solution to a potential problem, Jer.
Hire me, Vince. Come on.
Jer, thank you for your help this week.
Anytime. David Arquette for Hall of Fame 2019. Get ready.
Is there anything else you want to say to Cornish before we go?
Take that, Cornish. Penn State's going to give the Hilltoppers a good old BFing.
See, we're going to give them a pump handle slam, but we're going to rock them right there in the A before we do it. Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Putting the D in the A.
We're going to give them a good old BFing.
BFFFFFF forever.